Hi loves, welcome back for another video, or welcome if you're new here. This is my first video of 2019, which is so exciting, and I really just kind of felt like I had to start off with my 2019 goals, but then also I really wanted to do a video reflecting back on 2018 because it was such an amazing year and I learned so much and just really wanted to share some of my highlights with you guys. So this is probably going to be a little bit of a longer video. Definitely go grab a snack or a cup of coffee or something and just hang out with me and hear about all of the good things that came my way in 2018 and also the things that I hope will come my way in 2019. And I hope that the year is treating you guys well so far. I know it's only been a few days, but if you're already falling off of some of your resolutions, definitely don't feel like that's the end all be all and you have to wait till next year for another fresh start. Life is definitely not that like linear and perfect. It would be so nice if it was, but it's just kind of not how it goes. And it's okay if you fail at something to try again and not just put, you know, the like arbitrary date that we've created this whole system of like 1 year or the other, which I guess sounds kind of silly for me to say in a video like this one because I'm talking about 1 year and then my hopes for the next, but at the same time, your life is what you make it and it doesn't matter, you know, if it's 2018 or 2024, like you're still able to grow and change whenever you want to, and you know, you have the power to do that and the year doesn't matter. So anyway, with that being said, I'll get off my little pedestal and, you know, my soapbox, that was the word I was looking for. I'll get off my soapbox and we'll go ahead and move on into the good stuff, my highlights of 2018. So I just made a bunch of little notes here in my phone and I'm just going to skim through them with you guys, and I'll try to insert some pictures and videos as it makes sense, just to kind of give you guys a visual, make this video a little more fun. So the only highlight that I wrote down for January of 2018 was that I turned 24, which isn't a super special age, but I had a really great year being 24. I'm actually turning 25 next week on Wednesday, January 9th, so it's super crazy that I'm already going to be 25. I know it's not that old, but it just sounds so much more adult to me than any of my 20s so far. Like I feel like once you hit 25, it's like, all right, so what are you actually doing with your life? And you're like, I don't know. So anyway, 24 was definitely a good year for me, and I had such a fun birthday last year, just celebrating with my friends and going out to some bars here in Alexandria. It was just a good time. Then February came along and I learned that I would lose monetization here on this channel, and it's funny that I would include this as a highlight because it sounds like a bad thing. But I think that losing, you know, partner and monetization, and I was partnered with an MCN, like all of that was just gone. And it was like, well, you don't meet the new requirements, so that sucks. And as much as I was upset about it at first, it made me take a step back and think about like, why am I actually doing this? And I was never in YouTube for the money. Like even when my videos had ads on them, like they weren't making anything to write home about. And so I think it really made me evaluate what I was doing. It just became this new motivation. Like, well, maybe I can hit those milestones one day, but for now I'm really happy with my channel and I love this little community that I've built. And I don't know, it was a weird thing in that it was a negative, but then it kind of forced me to have a better perspective and just take a step back about my channel. And I really think it was part of why I put so much more into my channel in 2018 and just really started to kind of reconnect with it in a way that I hadn't for a long time. So it ended up being a really good thing. In February, I also filmed a collab with my friend Ben or Drummond here on YouTube. I will have it linked down below so you guys can check it out if you haven't seen it. It was a really fun video. We did a Never Have I Ever, but it was a YouTube edition, and so it was really fun and I just really enjoyed hanging out with Ben. I always do. We've been good friends ever since we met at Playlist DC a couple years ago, and he's just a great person. He's really funny, and it's awesome to just hang out with other people that do YouTube because they definitely understand you on a different level. In February, my family also came to visit me and we went and toured the White House, which was really cool and something that, even though I've lived here in the DC area for quite a while now, I hadn't done yet. So if you guys ever get the chance, I definitely recommend it. March wasn't really much of a eventful month in 2018 for me, but I did write down that I got my social media marketing certification from Hootsuite, and that ended up being something that really helped me in my job search, so I'm super glad that I did it. And I also just learned so much about social media kind of from the business side, so that definitely was something that was really helpful to me, and I just felt that much more confident in, you know, the jobs that I was applying for, and I've definitely used a lot of the knowledge in my job that I have now. So it's been really great, and I definitely recommend the Hootsuite marketing course to any of you guys that are interested in working in social media. The course itself is free, and then the certification test I think was around $200, which is a little pricey, but I think a lot of businesses take it seriously, so it's a good certification to get if that is one of your career goals. In April, I filmed another collab with my friend Dami, and we talked all about everything related to YouTube conventions. So we mostly focused on Playlist Live and VidCon, but a lot of the tips that we shared could work for literally any convention that you want to go to. I will also have that link down below if you guys want to check it out. We had so much fun filming it and had just countless bloopers and funny moments, and it was awesome. My other major highlight for April of 2018 was going to Playlist Live in Orlando, Florida. I had so much fun at this Playlist. I wasn't sure about it because I feel like Playlist is starting to kind of be more of like a younger event. And not that I'm old by any means, but I mean like, you know, 12 to like 17 is probably their main target audience. And so I definitely fall high above that now. I actually ended up going to Playlist with my mom, and I didn't expect to end up bringing her there, but it was kind of the best thing that could have happened for that trip. She had so much fun and just really enjoyed, I think, getting to know this like new, just not even platform, but just community that she knew that I was a part of, but really couldn't grasp, you know, why I loved it so much and what was so special to me about going to conventions like Playlist. So it was really special to get to share that with her. And also I got to see my friend Carly, who I met at VidCon the year before in 2017. And so it was great to catch up with her. And then I actually also ran into a couple of viewers at Playlist. That was a really surreal moment for me because I really hadn't had that happen before. And so it kind of was like putting, you know, like usernames to a face and realizing that you guys watching this, it sounds so dumb, but like are real people. Like I'm not just talking to the internet. Like there are real people that watch my videos, and I don't know, it was just such a cool moment to kind of have that like classic like YouTuber like just walking around and like someone's like, oh my gosh, I love your videos. I'm like, what? You watch those things that I post? That's what? You're kidding, right? So that was definitely a really cool moment for me, and I think Playlist was one of the like major catalysts in 2018 for me to really kind of have a good talk with myself and realize that I needed to put more into my YouTube channel. And I mean, I've been saying it for a long time and I still haven't been consistent as much as I wanted to be, but I definitely put a lot more work into my YouTube channel in 2018, and I'm really grateful that I got to go to Playlist and really get inspired by the whole experience and just have a blast as always. May was also a really eventful month for me. First of all, a lot of my babies, as I like to call them, graduated from my film program at Mason. They were freshmen when I was a senior, so showing my age just a little bit there. But it was really fun to see them screen all their senior films, and I was really excited for them, and it's been really cool to see them start to kind of figure out their careers post-grad and everything like that. So that has been really exciting, and I really enjoyed that. And then also in May, I got a job offer, and for those of you guys who've been following me for a while, you know that post-grad has not been, you know, like a piece of cake and all butterflies and rainbows for me. And a lot of my struggle has been trying to break into the creative side of the business world, because that is not an easy thing to do. When you graduate with a creative degree, it's not like, okay, great, I filled these requirements and now I just instantly will get a job. Like, it's not a defined process, and every company is looking for a different skill set or, you know, a different style. It's really so hard because you can't define it as clearly as, you know, a lot of other professions. And so I had a hard time with my job search, to say the least. But in May, I finally got a offer at a nonprofit that I work at now in DC, and I do videography for them. I do a lot of video editing. I help with social media analytics. I manage their YouTube channel, which has been so much fun. I love doing my own YouTube channel, but I really have found that my passion for YouTube just spills out pretty much anywhere that people will let me spill it. So it's been really cool to help their channel grow and work on SEO and their thumbnails and, you know, just like getting things more consistent. And it's just been a really cool growing experience for me. And I love my job so much. And I have a lot more to talk about through this, you know, for the year. We're only in May, but this was definitely a very important highlight of the year. I just was so happy to finally be moving on into a new chapter in my life. Also in May, I traveled to Indiana with my boyfriend Ken to go to the college that he graduated from because his sister was graduating. So it was really neat to kind of take a little walk down memory lane with him and just see, you know, his old stomping grounds and get to see some of the Midwest because I'd never been out there before. So that was a really fun trip and I really enjoyed that. In June, I started my new job and really just hit the ground running with some of their kind of just busiest times of the year. It was really a trial by fire in a lot of ways, but it was also so fun to hit the ground running because I got to just kind of jump in and not really question anything because I didn't have time to. And so it was definitely a good learning experience and a great way to get started. And also in June, the Caps won the Stanley Cup. And I think I've already mentioned in this video, but I live in the Washington, D.C. area, and though I will always be a Tampa Bay Bolts fan, the Lightning Bolts, and it was really sad to see them be beat by the Caps for the Stanley Cup championship, but at the same time, since I live here and so many of my friends were so amped, of course I continued to follow all the games, and the energy in the city just all around that was so much fun, and it was so exciting to see the Caps win. Ken and I actually went to a Nats game not long after, and the Caps were there with the cup, and every time they like made a home run, the Nats did, they would be like hoisting the cup. It was just so much fun, and I don't know, the energy of that was just a really good time. July was a really exciting month because my boyfriend Ken moved down from Baltimore here to Alexandria, so we finally live in the same zip code and actually the same apartment. So he moved into my old place in July, and then in August we moved into this apartment. I will have some moving vlogs linked down below if you guys want to see more of that process. It was definitely a lot, and we definitely still aren't totally settled. It's hard to kind of just consolidate two people's stuff into one space. So we're still working on it, but it's been really great living with him, and it was definitely, you know, like one of my major highlights of 2018. In August, we also traveled down to Charlotte to visit Ken's best friend who's in med school at Duke, and we had such a fun, just little weekend. We went out to some cute restaurants and places together, and we also visited the NASCAR Hall of Fame, and I grew up as a diehard NASCAR fan because I am originally from the Daytona Beach area of Florida, so it was really cool to get to see the Hall of Fame and all of the history of one of the sports that I grew up loving so much. Charlotte is also such a beautiful city. I can't wait to go back and explore more of it the next time that I get the chance. In September, I continued my travels by going to my cousin's wedding in Maine, and it was absolutely gorgeous. It was on this like little camp sort of situation that was right on a lake, and it was just such a beautiful setting. It was Labor Day weekend. It was like so nice to just get out of DC for a while and go basically hang out in the woods. It was absolutely beautiful. Maine is one of my favorite places in the world, and we just had such a nice time. In September, I also finally left the country for the first time, and I know that I'm really not that old, but I feel like a lot of my friends either studied abroad or like did a fun trip in college and like went somewhere. And I finally got my passport this year, and then I went to Canada, to Toronto specifically, to go to Buffer Festival, and Buffer was definitely also one of my major highlights of this year. I went with my roommate Michelle, and we had such an incredible experience. It's definitely a lot, especially if you go to every single screening and a lot of the meet and greets after the screenings, because it's just kind of like nonstop all day long. But Buffer was just so much fun, and it just combined my two loves. Like I love film and video and like the creative like art production, all of that. But then of course I also love YouTube and the community. So putting those two things together was just like a dream come true for me, and I had a blast. And I kind of vlogged the weekend. I also did like a sit down recap and like showed all the footage at the same time. So I will have that linked down below as well. There will be plenty of content linked down below if you guys want to check out any of these things. In October, I saw Troye Sivan in concert with my little Natasha, and we had such a great time. If you guys ever get the chance to go see Troye, please do. He's just such an adorable human being, and like I love so much the way that he dances on stage. You just feel his energy and how much he loves what he does, and I just could see him every night and like not be sad about it. Also in October, my family came to visit again, and we went down to Skyline Drive. The leaves had just started to change, and so it was absolutely beautiful. We got some amazing pictures and just had such a nice time hanging out and, you know, doing a little bit of touristy stuff in DC and just having a nice weekend together. In November, I celebrated my 2nd anniversary with Ken, which was really special and fun. I honestly can't believe it's already been 2 years, but we've grown so much together, and he is definitely one of my highlights of 2018, as cheesy as that sounds. I also went to another concert with my little and saw David Cook, and I have loved David Cook since the minute that I saw him on American Idol, which, yikes, was 10 years ago now. That concert was really laid back and fun. He actually was doing an acoustic tour, which I didn't realize until I got there, but it was a really different vibe, and I really enjoyed that. I also, of course, went home for Thanksgiving in November and helped host, and though it was an adventure and we were basically slaving away cooking all day, it was so much fun to make some really quality like home-cooked food and just hang out with my family and enjoy a quick break from the craziness of DC and working and all of that. Last but not least, December was a complete whirlwind of a month with just holiday parties and all the projects at work that were just hard to keep track of. And also one of my highlights for December was volunteering with Wreaths Across America at the Arlington National Cemetery. This was Ken and I's 2nd year going and helping place wreaths on the graves for soldiers to honor them around the holidays. And it's an ongoing tradition that happens at cemeteries across the country, and it's really just a special thing to participate in. I mean, it's kind of just insane going to the cemetery and seeing the amount of graves that are there and thinking about how each of those people, you know, had like a family and a life and they made these crazy sacrifices. I think it also has to do with the fact that I come from a military family, but it just holds a really special place in my heart, and I love taking part in it every year around the holidays. Overall, 2018 was just a year of growth for me, and though I definitely had some not so fun days, there were a lot of really incredible days too, and I'm just so grateful for the life that I live. Without continuing to be too cheesy, I'm going to switch gears now and talk about my goals for 2019. So right off the bat, I actually have a word or a theme, whatever you would like to call it, for this year, and it is bliss. Basically, I know that 2018 for me was really about finding a fresh start. I was so focused on finding the perfect job for me and getting out of the situation I was in and working on my creative skills and growing and blah, 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 blah. I just felt so stuck in the beginning of 2018. And so that was my main focus, was to find that fresh start. Now that I've gotten to that point and I've worked in my new job for a while, of course I'm happy with it and I love it, but I've also realized that there are a lot of other things in my life that I could work on and want to grow in. And so that's kind of my theme for this year, is wanting to follow my bliss and just put more energy into the things that I'm passionate about, like YouTube, like going to concerts, like hiking, and just things that I don't always make time for. So that's definitely my major focus for the year, and then I will go ahead and kind of skim through my more specific goals. First, under the category of health, I wrote down that I want to work on being more active, like actually trying yoga, which I've been saying for a long time that I would do. I literally have a yoga mat sitting in the corner over there, and I've never used it, and I bought it like a really long time ago. So that's definitely something I want to work on this year. I also want to work on better self-care, and that's, you know, keeping up with doctor's appointments, working on a better morning routine, because I'm definitely not a morning person, and I just owe it to myself to kind of make that better than it is right now. And I also want to try some new healthy recipes and work on my water intake. I definitely drink a decent amount of water, but I could do better, and the amount of coffee that I drink, you know, kind of in comparison, is a little concerning, so gotta work on that. Next up, under YouTube, I wrote down upload weekly, and my goal is to upload every Friday, so hopefully this video is going up on the first Friday of 2019. We'll see how that goes. I also want to work on building a stronger community around my YouTube, and that both means with you guys and with other YouTubers, because I feel like I used to have such a close-knit group of YouTube friends, and now I know tons of people that make videos and I love them, and it's so great to catch up with them at conventions, but I really would love to just have closer YouTube friends and people that I can just lean on and, you know, help keep me accountable, and I want to help keep them accountable, all of that good stuff. I also want to work on my finances this year. Such an adulty thing, I know, but I just want to make sure that I'm staying on top of things, like making sure I keep track of all my bills and try to work on saving more consistently, bringing debt down, all of that fun stuff. I also definitely want to work on tracking my spending a little better. I use the app Mint, and I used to be really religious about checking it and making sure everything was marked, you know, in the right budget category, and really looking at things closely. And especially over the holidays, I kind of was just spending money and letting it happen. And so now I really want to kind of crack down and focus down more on where all of my money is going and just kind of being more aware and being an adult about it. For my career, I just wrote down some more general goals. I wrote keep growing and working on new skills and work on getting a side hustle started. So I won't go too deep into it because I know this video is already getting long, and honestly I have more hashing out to do with the business idea that I have. But I will say that it is social media and video related, and it is definitely something that I want to put more time into so that eventually, hopefully, I can live the dream of being an entrepreneur and quitting my day job and having the flexibility and freedom to live the life that I dream of. That's probably going to take more than just 2019 to do, honestly, but I want to get the ball rolling in this year and just kind of start down that path and, you know, have some trial and error, figure it out. And last but not least, for my goals for 2019, under hobbies, I have read at least one book a month, which I know it sounds like not a very ambitious goal, but honestly, I think last year my goal was to read at least 2 books a month, and I might have finished about like 2 books in the whole year. So I really want to work on reading more consistently. It's something that I always have loved doing, but have been so bad about making time for. So I definitely want to work on that and try to finish at least 1 book a month this year. Wow, I'm forgetting how to talk at this point, guys. And lastly, under hobbies, I wrote down go to more concerts. And I know this sounds kind of like a weird thing to list under hobbies, but I don't know where else concerts would fall. I feel like it's something that people do for fun, which would also equate to hobbies, right? I don't know. But I just really enjoy the energy of concerts, and there is nothing like seeing an artist live. Like, studio music is fantastic, don't get me wrong. I love music, it makes me so happy. There's just something so special about going to concerts, and I also, if I can help it, really want to go to a music festival this year. It's something that I've never done, and I feel like it would just be heaven. Like, it's like multiple days of just concerts constantly. Like, can it get better? Alright guys, that was it for my 2018 highlights and 2019 goals. This video was kind of a lot, so thank you so much for sticking with me and hanging out all the way to this point in the video if you made it this far. If you did enjoy this video and you're excited for 2019, make sure to hit the thumbs up button right down there and leave me a comment and tell me about some of your goals for this year. I would love to hear about them and we can motivate each other and keep each other accountable. I love you guys so much, and I will see you in my video next Friday. Bye!